Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the East Lyme Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of September 22nd, 2025. It's just about 7 p.m. Okay, roll call. Steve Carpentieri, Wayne Blair, Spencer Clapp, and Patricia Kolozowski will be sitting in for Kevin Mace. So if you'd like to come up.
Would you like to sit here or down there? Okay.
Okay. All situated? Okay, I now open the application of East Lyme Zoning Board of Appeals case 2-2025, application of Thomas and Erica Wilson for a variance to the East Lyme zoning regulations, sections 5.3.3, setbacks from 20 feet to 1.5 feet on the eastern property line for placement of a 128 square foot, 8 by 16 foot shed at property located at 23 Hillwood Drive, Niantic, Assessor's Map 16.3, Lot 10. I note the legal ad is run and copies are on file. Notices have been sent to the abutters and copies are in the file. So with that being said, I will ask the applicant for their presentation. You may come up, state your name and address, and give your presentation.
Okay, great. Should have gotten a video of the property, but we're trying to figure out if there was a way to do that as part of our application. I didn't see an option for that. But you've got this beautiful TV here. It would have been nice to do a little walkthrough with you of my property. So my name's Thomas Wilson, live at 23 Hillwood Drive, and I'm the applicant for this variance application. So this all comes down to having some area outdoor storage that we can put our kids' bicycles and a lawnmower, some garden tools to maintain the property. There's nothing that is flat with the property line where it's set out right now. If you can, I would direct your attention to the map with the setbacks that are currently on there for a structure the size that I'm asking. I have it highlighted yellow here of what that 20-foot setback is. There is a significant grade from the front of the property at Hillwood Drive up to level with the house where the kids can store their bikes to be easily accessible from there. The rest of the property is up another 8-foot grade to the back where there's more flat piece to set on. There's nothing in the setback that allows me to put anything bigger than an 8 by 10 shed. And when we consider even an 8 by 10 shed needs a 5-foot setback, I can't fit that anywhere in that 20-foot setback, or in the 5-foot setback that's required for an 8 by 10. It would be on top of my driveway if I did that, losing one of the only 2 parking spaces that I have. You look to the west side of the property, there's also a patio there. It's a very rough and overgrown flagstone patio that the previous owner had put in. It is again not level with the property. It's a couple steps up from where the driveway is, so we'd still be going up and down stairs to get the lawnmower through there, or the kids' bikes over there, walking across the lawn. So I'm just looking for a way to come up the driveway and have a place to park some stuff. I'm not asking this as a matter of convenience or aesthetics. I'm out of options from the property they have, being able to improve it so I can maintain it. Is there anything more specific that you guys want me to go through in this? I'm happy to walk you through the rest of the application if you'd like.
According to these pictures, you have, it looks like about a 30-foot flat area behind your house.
I do. There was a pool there when I bought the house. It was not a well-maintained pool. It was on the north side of the house, so it was constantly in the shade and cold and green all the time. With a failing retaining wall that was an existing timber retaining wall there, I spent the last year and a half removing that pool, filling it in with a nice sodded area for the kids to play catch in, and putting in a much improved stone retaining wall to hold that 7-foot grade back. It's actually 2 separate 3-foot high walls over the span of maybe 15 feet to try to hold that back. I think you can see that wall in those pictures as well. So
Yeah,
that area was a pool that was an eyesore, I'll say. That was very difficult to try to maintain, so we removed it. And now I don't really want to put a shed right there looking out the back window into that space. If that's the only solution that exists, I understand that decision, but it really limits me to where I can functionally use my yard now.
Question.
Yeah.
How do you get the lawnmower up? You have two grassy areas.
I do.
You have one that's low and then that's one high in the back there. And if it's grass, I assume you
I am mowing it up
so
there,
how do you get a lawnmower up there from the lower one to the upper one?
So there's stairs that do go up there. I fold the lawnmower in half and carry it up the stairs.
And that appears to be a fairly large grassy area.
Yeah, so I would say I have 3 different areas of my lawn that I have to mow. The
Right.
front grade,
Yeah.
which is the bulk of my yard.
Right.
That small flat area right there, and then the small grassy area in the back.
Right.
So I do
Right.
have to. It's got either I need 2 sheds and 2 lawnmowers, or I'm gonna have to carry it up and down the grade there.
Well, that back area looks fairly large to me. As
Yes,
far
it
as,
is.
You know, if you want to put a volleyball net or
It's not big enough for a volleyball court. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The issue that I have anyway is that the regulations, when they talk about impractical, it really means impractical, i.e. that there is no other viable way to be able to do it.
Okay.
And so if your grade that you're looking at here, if that came all the way back within 5 feet of your back of your house,
Yeah.
and it was a steep, 12 degree grade, something like that,
Yeah.
then I'd say, wait a minute, let's look here and say, you know what, there's no other place to put this shed. But unfortunately there is. That even though you may not like it aesthetically, that back grassy area where you filled
Yes.
in the pool is much bigger. In fact, it looks like from the back of the house, not counting the back steps, all the way to the retaining wall, it's almost 30 feet.
It is 30 feet.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about putting, if you wanted to move a couple of those big rocks that are back there underneath the retaining wall, there's a couple of, according to the picture, there's a couple of big, there's 3 or 4, looks like very large rocks that you have underneath the retaining wall.
Those are the retaining walls. This picture shows it pretty clearly.
Yeah, it does.
The retaining wall is made of giant rocks with some stone.
I see, okay, it looked a little bit different. What I'm saying though is that, because it's a 30-foot area there, if you were to put that shed 8 feet coming out from the retaining wall and then along 16 feet, you'd still be able to do that, and the grade is such that the bicycles and the lawnmower would be on the same grade as your driveway.
So are you saying put it on the east side of where I just filled the pool in, or the west side?
Here's a picture
I think,
when there was a shed on that property.
This shed up here is on that upper grade.
The shed up here is on the upper grade?
That's the upper grade. The pool's
Yeah.
right there.
Really?
right,
That's on the upper, okay.
Yeah, that's the house. That's the pool. That's the shed.
so it's right where the pool, where you filled it all in there.
Yeah.
And again, I get the fact that aesthetically, it may not be that pleasing to look out the back window and see that shed. On the other hand, you do also have the upper area there that could be, you could put lawn equipment up there, you could put a fire pit, you could put all kinds of nice stuff up there.
Yeah.
And then have the woods all around it, and it'd be a really, really very aesthetically pleasing place to have. So that's the problem that I have, is that I don't feel that you're actually in a situation of impracticality.
Yeah.
Because you do have an alternative.
Which is to put a permanent structure on top of a previous pool, which I thought was completely off the books.
I don't believe there's
Not at
any.
all, not if you filled it in correctly.
Yeah, if you filled it in and it's not sinking, I mean, that would be your issue there. But
Right.
if it's been filled in by a competent contractor, and especially if it's been, when did you do that? When was that filled in?
Last August of 2024.
Okay, so it's been a full year, been
Yeah.
through the winter, been through the spring, been through a lot of rain and everything else.
Has it settled?
No, there's no settlement.
Then you've got, at least you know you got a good contract,
Right.
because it didn't settle.
So I did want to have a patio back there as well. So I'd have to consider like where if there were any space to have like entertainment outside on grade with my house, it would be in that immediate area also.
Right.
I haven't done that yet, which I understand putting this in is going to restrict that, but I got to make choices at this point.
See, the problem here is, we see why you want to move your shed and next to the property line. I guess it's more desirable and more convenient. But according to the current zoning regulations, you have other places that you can put it without the need of a variance. And unfortunately, because of that fact, we can't give a variance if it's not needed. It's in the regulations. If you have an option to do something without a variance, you can't get a variance. If there was, like he said, if there was no other way of doing it, and that land was in such a way where you had no possible place to put it other than there, then you would have the option to get a variance. But because you have other places to put it, we can't give you a variance for that. Just because it's more convenient and it looks better, and it's more convenient for the bikes or the lawnmower. I mean, we understand that, and I can sympathize that with you.
Yeah. So if I had an attached structure to my house that reached over to within that distance, then you could say yes. If I gave you site plans that was a garage that went to the edge of my property line, like there are in other places in East Lyme, you would approve that, but not a shed that got that close to my property line, because it's not attached to my dwelling.
Well, that gets a little bit. That might be a little bit different because it's a different issue. It's a hardship with the land.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what could get me to yes.
Like he said to you,
Yeah.
you have that steep grade.
Yeah.
If that steep grade went all the way up to 4 or 5 feet, let's say from the back of your house, then you would have
It would be impractical.
a hardship with the land because
Yeah.
the land put you in a position
Yeah.
where you couldn't do it. But your land didn't put you in that position. It just gave you.
No, I understand the argument. My question is slightly different. Is there another process I can follow to change the dwelling itself to allow me to have more storage?
Well, that.
Can I add a garage onto my house that reaches to 2 feet from the edge of my property line, so I can have some attached outdoor storage that is not in
No,
that
because
space?
you'd be causing it. It has to be with the land.
No, I'm not. If I wanted to put a garage on my house, could I?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to go to zoning and see if it fits. You'd have to check with Bill to see if, yes, on your property you can put a garage. I can't answer that
Okay.
right now because without
Okay.
looking at your
I got-
property
yeah.
and all that. I mean, I said, I guess it's conceivable, but I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Bill would know the answer. And then if he said, no, you couldn't, then you'd come before us, and then that would be a whole other issue. But it has to be a hardship with the land,
Okay.
and you haven't fulfilled that. Unfortunately, but I do understand why
okay.
you want to do it.
And at least you have, I just have to say from my standpoint, at least you do have that nice upper area when you're talking about entertainment or something like that.
Yeah.
And it looks to be big enough that you could, there could be a lot of stuff that you could do up there. Many people don't even have, that kind of a flat area in East Lyme.
I put in a lot of work to make that flat area. I know how lucky I am to have it because I
Yeah.
broke my back doing
It
it.
looks like a beautiful
So
piece of real estate.
I'm disappointed in the result. I understand the judgment. I wish that this was more clear up front, as I had stated earlier. I paid $400 to come talk to you guys about this. It should have been made much more clear to me that there is no, I talked to people in the front office. I got emails I had PDFs sent to me explaining why the Supreme Court thinks that zoning boards are important. There was not information that I could digest and consume and be able to have a logical, here are the requirements, here is what I'm trying to ask for a variance. I spend my life building submarines. I understand what a requirement is. I understand when a requirement can be waived. I understand your judgment and exactly how the law is written. I'm not asking you guys to do this differently. I'm asking it to be communicated to the public better.
No, you actually seem like a very intelligent man, and that's why I was kind of surprised.
I put a lot of work into this package thinking I could come here and make an argument that this is...
When you applied for that variance, no one explained to you that you were kind of going uphill on this?
They said, put it in.
Well,
I originally said, I'll apply for this, just the $40 application, and they said that's a waste of your money. Apply for the variance because you know you're going to need it.
yeah.
That was the advice given me. You know you're going to need the variance, so apply for it. So there was an assessment made somewhere along the way that, yeah, that pool area is not good. That's the only spot that's graded on your land that's fine, so apply for a variance. So I spent a lot of time, like since August of last year, trying to figure out what to do with all this, putting my plans, because this plan for the shed is not the plan that I put together for my backyard. The plan that I put together for my backyard does not have a shed in the middle of where my pool was. In the middle of the $65,000 that I put into my backyard to make it look nice when you look out the kitchen window. So I know I'm not going to change you guys' mind on this, but I am very frustrated in what just happened tonight.
Well, I apologize, but like I said, if a variance is not required, legally we can't give it to you.
I got that.
And I
I
hear
got
what
that,
you're
Steve.
saying about the communication, and that obviously could have been better, and that may be something that we may need to look at from our side.
Yeah.
To make sure that somebody is not just spinning their wheels and wasting $400 when it's pretty much almost like, in a situation like this, I have to tell you, this is black and white. There's not even a gray area here because of the fact that you do have options, and there's not a hardship. But from our standpoint, I'd like to, I appreciate your feedback on that, and we may need to, improve the communications so that a situation like what you have here does not happen again.
Is there a way to change how a variance can be used by this zoning board?
No, it's a state law.
It's
all state law,
It's
regulations.
It's set up by the state of Connecticut. We have to follow.
Yeah.
We follow what they tell us.
So I would need to amend Connecticut state law to make that change.
Yeah, exactly, and that's not going to happen. But
Well,
Don't.
I guess it could
It
happen.
could
It
happen.
won't happen.
Yeah, I understand.
I have a question for
Yeah.
you. On this plan,
Yeah.
right by your opposite your proposed shed, you have they call it a planter.
Yeah.
I don't see it on. Okay. Okay, that's next to the house. But I was looking there but from the planter up to here, it looks like with the contours,
Yeah.
you have roughly I'm not saying exactly flat area, but in there. Could you put it over here on this side of the driveway?
So you're talking about this space right here?
I'm talking up into here. You got this here that doesn't seem to show on here unless it's up in here. But
This trailer, you talking about over here?
Yeah, so he's talking about the space from the stairs at the back of the house
Stairs.
up to where this trailer is parked as being a relatively flat area.
Yeah.
I mean,
it'd be right next to the driveway,
that's my primary.
so
Entrance to
it'd
the
be an
home.
entrance, but you could have.
I mean, you could, but I think you're better off put it in the
Which
back
would
part
be
where your
over
stone
20
wall
feet.
is.
Yeah. I mean,
And you could dress that up with some plants over there and blend it right in.
yeah. We'll figure something out over there.
You got a beautiful piece of real estate. I'm sure
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
think about it and take a few measurements, I'm sure you can find a really good spot to put it.
No, you guys are right. I mean,
It's the technicality of the regulations.
I wonder, there's so many things about that little neighborhood there. You guys are familiar with the Bush Hill neighborhood, right? There's so many little things in that neighborhood that I'm like, someone whose whole front yard is just rocks. It must have been challenging to figure out how they were going to develop that property with the assumption that it was going to be continued to be maintained for the next 100 years, 200 years. I think the retaining wall that was put in 1980 to hold that pool back, no way would you allow that to be done today. And the landowners are suffering the consequences of how it was being done then, to the point where there are a lot of outbuildings on properties in that neighborhood so I just gotta deal with the fact that I'm in today's state and trying to manage property that had a zoning board that approved things in the 80s that are different than the regulations now. Like, I don't think you guys would allow a pool where that pool was today, would you? Do you know? You'd have to have an application for it. The pool was like a sidewalk away from the basement. Like one sidewalk square. I bought that house and had to figure out how to maintain it, and now I'm trying to continue it, getting different results than I think I would have had when it was built.
The other thing is that there are a number of people who don't bother to
They
even
just put
go to
something in.
zoning.
Sure.
And unless somebody drops a dime,
Yeah.
the neighbor says, wait a minute, you just put that shed up and it's 2 feet away from my fence.
Mhm.
And you know, and then all of a sudden, then our zoning officer would go out there and say, I'm sorry, but we're gonna put in a cease and desist order, you need to take that thing down.
Yeah.
And, but there's some people who, they check with their neighbors first, do you have a problem with this, do you have a problem with this?
Yeah.
And if they say no, then they go ahead and do it,
But,
and,
I mean, my neighbor's right here, because I wanted to be clear and open.
yeah, okay. And I'm just saying
Yeah.
that some people do that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your military background that would not allow you to cut corners and, you know, maybe try and do something that
Yeah.
nobody's gonna find out about.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a lot of things here, because of the age of East Lyme, a lot of things predate zoning.
Yeah.
And so some of the things that you see in different neighborhoods, especially the ones that are really dense,
Oh, yeah.
those all predate.
Like the Pine Grove neighborhood, like.
Oh my God, yeah,
Yeah.
Pine Grove is a great example. I mean, they're
Giant's Neck.
Giant's Neck,
Giant's Neck. They're cheek to jowl
Yeah.
on some of those houses.
Yeah.
I mean, you can literally, you know, if the windows are open, you can hear your neighbor flush the toilet.
Yeah.
But that's
That's how that property was developed.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were all summer cottages.
Yeah.
You know, and then everybody now over there or whatever, and has made them, you know, 4-season. But those folks still have to live with the fact that they're, you know, cheek to jowl. You've got a really nice piece of property here, and privacy, and in the back and everything else like there. It's one of the very, very, very nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. I understand all.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we need to vote?
Well, actually, what we have to do is close the public hearing.
Yeah.
Anybody want to speak for or against it? We'll make a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion moved.
Okay. How about a motion to open up the regular meeting?
No, you need a second.
You did second.
Oh,
I'll
sorry,
second it.
I didn't hear.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I need a motion to open up the regular meeting?
Motion to open the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we've done a pretty good discussion on it already. I think we probably have a pretty good idea where it stands. Someone want to make a motion for or against?
Well, I'll move that we deny the applicant's variance.
You gotta read it. Oh, you gotta read the application.
Yeah,
Right here.
Applicant of Thomas and Erica Wilson for variance of the East Lyme zoning regulations, sections 5.3.3 setbacks from 20 feet to 1.5 feet on the eastern property line for placement of 128 square foot 8 by 16 shed on property located at 23 Hillwood Drive, Niantic, assessor map 16.3, lot 10. I move that the application be denied.
Do I have a second?
I have a question.
Okay.
Do we have to have a reason on the motion of why we denied it?
I don't believe that we do, actually.
Well, no,
When we
the
had this
reason is that
discussion.
he has other options to put his shed without having to get a variance.
Well, does that have to be within the motion?
Yeah.
That's a good idea, state the reason.
Yes.
That's fine. Then I will say that, I am moving that the application for variance be denied based on the fact that there's not a hardship or impracticality and other options exist for the location of the proposed shed.
All in second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Again, we're sorry, wish we could have helped you,
Figure out something else.
you know. You seem like a bright guy, you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, motion to
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.